Hello guys! This is again Drago42 to go with the SciCraft crew. Hey guys!
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
And today our guest is Norwegian. Hey there.
Hello.
And yeah, he actually contributed to something we'll show you today. So he made some pretty nice design, which he used for decoration of one of our farms. And yeah, maybe you want to say something about yourself?
Well, I play technical Minecraft on a server called Spectrum. Other than that, not really.
Okay. Yeah, so Norwegian is also a pretty good builder. That's why we asked him to help us out with the decoration. And yeah, welcome on board for the tour. But then I think one person we haven't introduced yet, and who's actually a member of the server, is Pala. Hey there.
Hello.
So yeah, he made some pretty cool quarry at some point. Maybe you've seen it. So the quarry actually works in linear time with a larger perimeter instead of quadratic time, which is pretty cool. Alright, but let's come to today's topic. And we're starting here at something we've already shown at some point, and that is our old nether wart farm. Now, unfortunately, well, it's technically still working, but it's not efficient anymore at all, because of some changes that happened to the game. Maybe someone of you wants to explain?
Yeah, okay, so this farm was quite large. I think it was 200 by 200 blocks, and it worked fine in 1.8, but in 1.9, the range in which random ticks causes crops and nether warts and so on to grow was shrinked. And now only in about 120 blocks around the player, stuff will grow. So if you're at one end of the farm, then on the other side, nothing would grow. And yeah, when we complete the round, then almost none of the nether wart has grown and basically was useless.
Yeah, so maybe for those who haven't seen the video when we originally showed this one, because it's quite a while back, basically you would sit in a minecart over here and just take a trip around the farm, like going back and forth here on these rails, and you would just hold down right click, so you would pick up some nether warts, which are being broken here, so we have a bunch of pistons behind. They retract the soul sand and put it right back in place before stuff falls down. You go through, pick up nether warts and plant them, and the rest is sucked up with the hopper minecart underneath. And yeah, that worked fairly well, but it relied on things being grown again once you come back. Like pretty much after one lap, a large fraction of the warts needs to be grown. And this is no longer the case, as Mango explained, since the range in which plants grow has shrunk. So we had to build a new one. And I would suggest we head right over there. Alright, so we just traveled a small piston bolt from the nether hub to the place where we have the portal to our farm. Well, that's not the farm. Would be a bit too small. Even though, quite productive.
Works.
Yeah, but of course this is not quite our style in terms of size, so I would suggest we head right through the portal and take a look at the actual farm. And there we go. People are slowly coming in. And this is a pretty cool entrance, I think. Includes a bit of a crafting station and some storage. And this thing was actually designed by Norwegian, so thanks a lot, buddy, for helping out here.
No problem.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool, really catches the topic. Also sort of incorporates the area where we built it, which is our old desert, and it was literally quite deserted after we dug out all the sand from here. But by now we covered a large area with the farm, so that's pretty nice. And I would suggest, just to get an idea of the size of the farm, let's take a bit of a flight around it. So it's hard with the elytra to show it without crashing into it. But yeah, you can see it has quite a few layers. I think it's something like 18 layers. I always miscount. But yeah, the farm is now stacked in multiple layers, which gives us the advantage that basically we are always in range for stuff to grow, and we overcome the limitation which the 1.9 update put on us. And yeah, so at any point when you're somewhere in the farm, again with a similar concept, things on the opposite end of the farm could still grow. So let's maybe take a brief look inside. So we just sit in the minecart, either flick this lever here to be in continuous mode, or just press the button once, hold down right click, or even use a clicking script, which makes it even faster. So I'm now creating a little bit of noise by clicking manually, but that way we just replant as many warts as possible. Go to the next row, everything's harvested. We're running through, and if I want to get out, the minecart leaves me behind, which sucks, but there's a little safety system. So it detects when you leave the minecart, so it doesn't trigger the next part. Well, technically it triggers one more part of the farm here, but the minecart doesn't go infinitely far and trigger all the farm, because that would harvest all the warts and would be a bit annoying to replant, since you really rely on picking them up on the fly. So yeah. Oops. Yeah, that's basically how the system works. Fairly simple, just a string which detects if there's a player inside. Through this observer, there's a piston behind this block which gets powered, pushes the minecart over on the next rail, and there you go for the next lap. So let me see if I can quickly get back out. And then maybe we can take a look at something from the outside. Alright, made it back out of the maze. Let's try to get a bit of a glimpse of what's going on. So, okay, where do we see this best? It's a bit hard to maneuver. There we can see it. Okay, so we got the soul sand here with the minecart rail underneath. We got those pistons, they briefly fire twice, so they retract soul sand, put it back in place before stuff can fall down. The player rides through, and once you're at the end of the lane, a redstone signal is triggered, which A triggers the pistons for the next row, which quickly double pulse, and it also sends this minecart here with a hopper on its way, so it sucks up all the nether wart that the player did not pick up. Which means we automatically give priority to the player to pick up warts, which you can use again to replant, and the rest is just being picked up. Slowly goes through these hoppers, which is perfectly sufficient. I mean, this thing picks up everything that's on this lane here, which fits into one minecart, and then it takes quite a while to take a full turn until we come back here. So by that time it's easily emptied. And I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Snap.
Okay, that was non-essential.
Yep. It's always a bit tricky where something is attached and where not, so I was a bit hesitant. But okay, made it out. And yeah, it comes down here to a little storage, so this is just a shulker box filler. But since we have so many unloading stations running at the same time, even though each one of them is very slow, like just hopper speed, we have multiple ones running at the same time, dispensing warts into these water channels here. And so we need quite a few shulker box fillers. So how many do we have here? 3, 6, 8, 9? I miscounted. 4, 6, 8. Yeah, so we have 8 shulker box fillers which work in parallel. And in the end, well, we got a bunch of shulker boxes here to supply it. But the rest is being pumped up here and ends up in the storage.
Cheaty shulker boxes here. Should mention that.
Sorry?
We got some cheaty shulker boxes here, stacked shulker boxes.
Yeah, so there's a bit of an exploit how you can actually duplicate and stack shulker boxes, and we did it here just to not have to refill it all the time, which is a bit annoying. So for empty shulker boxes, yeah, we can actually stack them.
We're still in 1.12, there's a bug that allows doing that.
Yeah.
In normal survival. So it's not like we go in creative or MC Edit and do that. It's all normal survival.
Yep. And yeah, then at some point they end up in here. Actually, no, there's no access here. On the other side, I think we have an access. Let's see if we
No, that's all for the blocks already.
Ah, right.
There's no access really. I mean, you can take it out from the shulker box here. I figured
we
never need more than like a shulker box full of warts,
so,
right?
Yeah, we have here again one of our typical crafting stations that Mango likes to use and build. Actually, do we have 2? No. We got a spare spot. But yeah, here basically we can take the warts, craft them into blocks, put them back in here, and let me just add those, for example. And once the thing is filled, that one gets automatically broken. Once that one's empty, it gets automatically broken and replaced. That one gets replaced with the empty one, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is.
I think
Now
the
this farm.
second one was gonna be used for what's it called, the bricks, like the red ones.
Sorry? The red nether brick. Yeah, that's something we could use it for. But then we actually need 2 types of items as an input. So
Yeah,
might have
that's
to change
why
it.
we have the second slot here, if you ever to do that.
Yeah, so the farm is pretty huge. It was about 500,000 blocks to build. Which is
So
mostly
100 by
sandstone.
100 by 100 again. It's like the sugarcane farm.
A nice little cube. 100 cubed. So it contains about 500,000 blocks that we had to place. And it's producing about 45,000 nether warts per hour, which I think is quite a decent number. And that's really if you use a fast clicking script, so it's pretty much as fast as you can plant nether wart. Or well, as fast as you can plant nether wart and then harvest everything.
Total time to go through all of it is 1 hour.
Yeah, so the nether wart has to be fully grown, or at least 99% of it or whatever, when we get back to one lane before we trigger the pistons. And for that it has 1 hour time, which is plenty, I guess.
This farm actually took so much observers that we had to go mine quartz.
Oh yeah. There's a hell lot of observers in there for all the wiring and...
We used around 50,000 observers and I think 77,000 rails or something like that. In total.
That's a number, for sure.
I think we started building in April, if I remember right. Took quite a while.
Yeah. That's quite an effort to build. But for this episode we still got another farm. So let's see if we can fly over there. Now it works. Nice. So yeah, we haven't really connected it yet to our network, and probably we'll just build an overworld piston bolt because it's so close. And there we go. Let me just land on the roof. We got a huge pumpkin and melon farm. So yeah, basically XCOM needed some pumpkins, and we decided to also squeeze in some melons, because it's technically more efficient as in items per block that we produce. And yeah, I think it produces a pretty cool pattern when it's grown. And maybe someone can turn on the machine. So we can
Careful, there's creepers everywhere.
From on top. There we go. So yeah, we got a huge flying machine which goes across the thing, and it doesn't all update for me. As you can see, all the pumpkins and melons get broken, but they also very quickly regrow already. Simply because we try to have as much farmland as possible around each stem. And it's a lot of stems, of course. So yeah, this thing, it really punches exactly in the right pattern, so it doesn't destroy any of the stems, even though they're also in the way where stuff grows. Yeah, I think that's actually pretty impressive. That works. So it needs to be an engine which basically moves 2 blocks forward, then punches, moves another 2 blocks, punches again, and does this all the way through the entire farm, which takes not even that long. Mango, do you know how long it takes for one run?
I think it's 200 something blocks long, and flying machine moves 2 blocks per second.
Okay, so it takes something
2 minutes?
like 2 minutes, well, per direction, right?
Yeah.
So it takes about 4 minutes until it's flying back, or until it's completely back at the beginning. By that time I think a lot has already grown, but I think we leave it still on a timer, right? Or do we send it
timer?
off?
No. It sent off immediately.
Okay.
Also, it has a self-returning flying machine designed by ITA. So all you need are those glass panes at the back, which causes the whole machine to return. It's quite nice.
So there's no active station here, no pistons or anything. It's really just that there's too many blocks attached to some module or to some part of the flying machine, and therefore it will be forced to invert its direction. Which is pretty cool. And yeah, you can see also on the way back it already punches out some plants again, or some melons and pumpkins.
Yeah.
And of course there's a whole bunch of minecarts going on underneath, which pick up all the items and bring them over to the storage, which is conveniently located over here. So let me just fly in.
Maybe we should mention it. I showed a similar design before. It was designed by Wart 12345, my channel, and yeah, Methods and me worked on compacting it since we have the observers now. Wart's version was done in pre-observer times.
Maybe
yeah, go ahead.
Maybe we should also mention that building this took only like a day for the mechanism, and then the second day we built like decorations and so on. So for the output and for the size, it's actually very easy to build.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think there's a minecart stuck actually right here. It's on the powered rail, but okay, minecarts are just always a bit crappy, unfortunately. But okay, sometimes we have to nudge them a bit. We can do that afterwards. It's not a big loss. But oh yeah, there's multiple ones being stuck.
Maybe it doesn't seem like it, but it's probably the cheapest way to make a melon and pumpkin farm if you build it in that scale.
Yeah, so it's a huge area, so we really just need the dirt, bit of water, and some light sources, which also have to be sort of cut out from the flying machine, of course. So their jack-o'-lanterns are a really nice thing to use. Simply because they can't be moved, so they don't stick to the slime blocks. And yeah, it's really just this flying machine. I mean, if you look at it, it's a few observers, some pistons, redstone blocks, a trapdoor, and some slime blocks. But this thing, which just spans once across the field here, goes once across in this direction and takes care of everything. So no need to have like one piston for each potential growing spot, which you would have in a regular design. So yeah, definitely very cheap. I think by now, shouldn't there be an item elevator here? No.
That's the shulker box elevator.
Okay, that's why we have so rarely an item.
Occasional shulker box. Yeah.
So we have the shulker box filling underground and just store the shulker boxes here. But as you can see, I think we haven't been running it for too long actually.
Oh, overnight once.
And we got how many? 5 chests? Over 5 double chests of shulker boxes with pumpkins. And probably even more for melons. Those are melon slices.
5 times the amount usually.
Yep. And we just got them sort of for free. Because, yeah, basically when there's of course a pumpkin grown, then the melon stem doesn't connect to it and it can still grow in one of the remaining spots. So, yeah, it's just more efficient than having another pumpkin stem here, which basically would be disabled as soon as this pumpkin here is grown. Maybe from this guy here, for example.
Yeah, it's actually because if you have the same type of stem diagonally, then the rates are halved. So if you would have pumpkin only, every stem would only produce half of it, and then having twice the amount is no benefit.
Yeah, so that's an additional thing, that the random ticks which cause it to grow, or cause it to advance a step in growing, are actually cut in half. Like half of them are discarded if you have the same thing on the diagonal again. That's why I have to use different ones here. And yeah, so it nicely combines into a 2-in-1 farm. And again, overcomes all kind of restrictions. So since it's about 200 blocks long, we can just stand somewhere on the roof in the middle. And yeah, in each direction it's only like 120 blocks or so, which is perfectly within range for growing. And that way we pretty much make most of the area we could use. Well, we could make it a bit wider. But yeah, it's pretty efficient for that. Right, so what are the rates? We get about 30,000 pumpkins per hour. So that fills up quite quickly. And for melons, as Mango mentioned, it's about 5 times as much. So that's about 150,000 items per hour. So melon slices, that is. Let's take a quick look. There we go. And probably I can't put it back. Snap. I can put it back here. Alright. Norwegian, we didn't ask you if you have any questions so far. So,
Not really.
not really, all
other
pretty
than-
self-explaining.
Yeah, I think he's asking why he didn't get to design this one as well.
Yeah, it looks a bit plain, not as fancy as the nether wart farm.
It's a greenhouse. It shouldn't be fancy. Come on.
For greenhouse, it's pretty wide. Yeah, anyways, I think that's it for today's episode. I think we went through rather quickly, but yeah, the farms are just something that scales very easily, so not too fancy mechanisms. But they do a pretty good job and keep us stocked on all kind of supplies here. So, any last words? If not, then thanks a lot for watching, guys. Be sure to also check out Norwegian. He also has a bit of content out there. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.